I, Anushka Chaudhary, and Nipun Chung, on behalf of Amity School of Business, welcome you all to the first edition of International Conference on Entrepreneurship and Sustainable Business Development, being organized by Amity Business School, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Noida, in association with College de Paris as knowledge partners from November 2nd to 3rd, 2022. Today, we have been joined by Dr. Rishi Dubey, Professor and Dean, SGT University, Gurgaon, Dr. Shaweta Sachdeva, Assistant Professor, the North Cap University, Gurgaon, and Dr. Neha Gupta Ma'am, Assistant Professor, ASB, Amity University, Noida, as our esteemed session chairs for this track on the theme Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and a faculty coordinator, Dr. Hemshweta Rathore, ma'am. I would request ma'am to please welcome our esteemed session chairs with a sapling as a symbol of prosperity and gratitude. Thank you, ma'am. So to begin with, we'll start with our Dr. Rishi Sir Dubey, first session chair, with your introduction. So Dr. Rishi Dubey, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir. Dr. Rishi Dubey sir has obtained a PhD in Business Management from Rickham University, Ujjain, and MBA from Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Indore. He is a professor and dean at Faculty of Commerce and Management, Sri Guru Gobind Singh, Trinity University, Gurugram, Delhi NCR. He is having an experience of more than 25 years, including teaching and industry experience. Earlier, that he has worked with Sri Vaishnav Vijay Patel, Vishwa Vidyalaya, Indore, with the capacity of the professor and the coordinator. Further, he has also worked with the Mahakal Institute of Management, Ujjain, with the capacity of professor and director for more than 14 years.
Introducing the session chair too, that is Dr. Shweta Sachdeva. Dr. Shweta Sachdeva is associated with School of Management and Liberal Studies, the North Cap University, as an assistant professor of economics. Her areas of expertise include microeconomics, environmental economics, and international economics and business. She has over 8 years of work experience in academics, research, and administration at various institutes of repute. Prior to joining NCU, she was working at the Department of Behavioral and Social Sciences with Manav Rachna University as an assistant professor. Previously, she has also worked with SGT, that is Sri Guru Gobind Singh Tri-Century University, and the Dayalbagh Educational Institute, Agra, in the capacity of assistant professor. Now we would like to introduce the third session chair, that is okay. So now we would like to begin with the first paper presenter, Mr. Sumit Maheshwari.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
So you can start sharing your screen.
Wait. Screen is visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Sumit Maheshwari, a PhD student in the Department of Operational Research, University of Delhi. Today, I will present my research paper entitled A Closed Loop Supply Chain Inventory Model Towards a Cleaner System. Introduction. So, first question arises, what is closed loop? Closed loop is the integration of forward and reverse supply chain. Generally, manufacturer or retailer focuses on the forward supply chain management. So this paper focuses on the forward as well as the reverse supply chain of the system. In today's era, it is necessary to product efficiently in manner to minimum waste after the end of use or end of life of the products. So now comes to the literature review table. Here These are the existing studies, and the present study, the main difference is the return rate of the used items. In this model, the return rates considered as stochastic, and we collected the end of use products. So now comes to the model formulation. In the forward supply chain, there is a manufacturer, a retailer, and the customer. In the forward supply chain, the fresh products moves from the manufacturer to retailer, retailer to end customers. So this model considers a collection center which collects the end of use product from the end customer of forward supply chain and bifurcate them to remanufacturable as well as the salvage items. So there is a screening process at the collection center. So collection center only collects the item which can be remanufactured. But due to some inspections error, there some items can be arise which cannot be remanufacturable. So in the first layer, the blue arrow represents the forward supply chain, and the green arrow represents for the reverse supply chain. And the integration of this system is called as the closed loop supply chain systems. So now moves to the inventory systems. We consider two cases for this model. In the first case, the remanufacturing rate of the new items is higher than the remanufacturing rate. In the case 2, the manufacturing rate of new product is less than the remanufacturing rate of used items. In the first case, from time 0, the manufacturing rate is beta and the remanufacturing rate is small r, which is less than to the beta. At time 0 to t1, the remanufacturing rate is less than the beta and the demand is same for is considered as same for both the products. At time t1, all the collected items are remanufactured, and at time t1, all the collected items are remanufactured, and 0 to t3, all the remanufactured items met the retailer's demand. On the other hand, the manufacturing process of new items stops at time t2, and till time t, the demand is made from the new items. On the other hand, in the case 2, we consider the remanufacturing rate is higher than the manufacturing rate. In this case, 0 to t1 time, we remanufacture all the collected items, and time t3 we manufacture the new items, and time t2 all the remanufactured items are vanishes from the inventory system, and all the new items vanishes in the system till time t. So here our basic motive is to integration of the manufacturing and remanufacturing cycle with the optimal cycle time. So here is the collection center. Collection center collects the mu fraction of the lambda. Lambda is the demand rate, which is the collection center collects mu fraction of demand in time 0 to t. So so this is the cost function of the entire system at the remanufacturer, and there is a remanufacturing cost of the item, holding cost of the item at the manufacturer, and setup cost of the manufacturer, production cost of the manufacturer, and the holding cost of the manufacturer. Now comes to the retailers, and there is a ordering cost of the retailer, holding cost of the retailer. Now moves to the collection center. There are two costs for the collection center: the collection of the used items, which includes the screening cost to collect the item, and the holding cost of the item. In the last, there is a salvage cost, the item that cannot be remanufactured. The proper disposal is necessary. So here we consider the classical optimization technique to find out the optimal results. For the case 1 and case 2, we optimize the total cost with the cycle time. And here is the conclusion, to reduce the amount of waste from the used products, it is imperative that all processes related to remanufacturing be exploited. This study proposed a two-layer supply chain model with the integration of the manufacturing and remanufacturing rate with the optimal cycle times. And here are the references.
Thank you so much, sir. The chairs may ask any questions. Sir, are we audible?
No.
Hello.
Sumit, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Good. Sumit, you have shown more mathematical presentation in your complete research. Okay.
Yes.
Suppose a person who is not able to understand the mathematical algorithm, he's a common person.
Okay.
So how
Okay,
can you explain your whole research in your view?
Okay. Basically, the purpose was to develop this model to the reduction of the waste, as the customer only focuses on the use of the item, and in the business environment, the manufacturer focuses on the to reduce the item's cost. But how can we reduce the item cost? To be the reuse or remanufacture or recycle of the used items. So we can offer the end customer to some amount to the used or end of life products.
Is it practically implementing somewhere, or it is proposed?
Actually, it is proposed, and we are trying to implement in the electronic equipments as the mobile phone and the laptop industry, increasing the e-waste.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Okay. I have one query. Very initially, you talked about before you started your manufacturing model and remanufacturing model, you mentioned return rate of used products.
Yes.
How do you measure that return rate of used products?
Okay. Initially, we consider a fraction of demand rate as a return rate. So initially, we assume the mu of demand rate lambda is the return rate.
No, okay. Equation hai. You said that demand is the return rate. Demand.
No. Mu is the return rate of the demand. Our demand is lambda. So demand return rate is mu lambda.
So if I say that I have a used product, I give you that my mobile is a used product. Please tell me the return rate of that my used mobile.
Okay. If I am a manufacturer and I sold 20,000 units in the market, and somehow I collect the 2,000 units, then the return rate is 10%. So mu is basically 10.
So how did you reach to that 10%?
Okay. Actually, in the market, there is a Casify, a third party, a collection center which collects the used items.
Sumit, as you said, Cashifier is through that you have identified the return rate, but that is not the only medium to find out the return rate, right? Everyone is not going to return the product through the Cashifier.
Okay. Actually, initially we consider a fraction. Then we can try to advance the mathematical modeling in the more realistic scenario.
And if you are saying realistic scenario, so there is a lot of uncertainty in the realistic scenario, right? Have you considered
Right.
uncertainty as well? Or you have you can also in future you can compare the model, deterministic and the uncertain model, I guess.
Actually, initially the main focuses of the inventory model was the forward supply chain. So initially we start the reverse supply chain in the inventory management. So there are not so lots of research in the reverse direction. So we consider as a mu fraction.
Okay. Varnika ma'am, you want to ask something? Okay. Fine. Thank you, Sumit. Nice presentation.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Next up, we have Ms. Ritika Chaudhary and Gautam Agarwal, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ritika Chaudhary, and
Dr. Gautam Agarwal.
we are presenting a paper on young students and social media entrepreneurs, a push-pull mooring perspective. As we know that brands have increasingly been using micro celebrities or so-called social media influencers these days to endorse their products. We have so many kids these days, especially the kids have social media account, and they are very much influenced with these social media influencers that they see every day on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or any other social media website. This particular market is 16 crore market as on now in 2021. The influencer market is this huge, and it is expected to grow to rupees 2500 crore in 2025. As per the researchers, that this is going to grow this huge, this massively, this there will be an increase. And we have good 1,26,000 Insta followers and Indian social media influencers, which are, and 35% of the total social media influencers are below 24 years of age. So this is a very important parameter that we have taken, that all the students that which are we have taken under the study are less than 25 years old or 24 years old. We have number of popular social media influencers, namely Bhuvan Bam and Kusha Kapil and Deepa Buller. They have good number of followers on Insta and other social media platform, which was a motivating factor that we should go forward to study this particular paper. Then we have this particular study, mooring study, was coined by the PPM study, was coined by Dr. Moon in 1995. He described what push and pull factors and mooring factors are in the area of in different areas, but this particular theory has been empirically tested in various other models and various other sectors, like retail chains, switching between smartphone operating systems or cloud based services, or digital payments and health sector. You would have also seen number of radio jockeys and number of other influencers talking about Kuber.com or Kuber coins or cryptocurrency. I'm sure we are also on social media, so you have must have seen all these people endorsing that we can go to cryptocurrency very conveniently, we can switch to it, and they are using these people to influence and create a impact on the prospective consumer. We have various push factors and pull factors and mooring factors, but we cannot consider all of them in our study. So we have limited our study with considering push factors with respect to opinion leader and online interaction propensity, and with push factors, perceived uniqueness and perceived originality, and with mooring factors, we have social media account and social identification. We have studied these statements and these variables to understand what is the intention for a student to become a social media influencer. We have certain questions, that research questions, that we have tried to answer in our paper, that what are the push factors which push or motivate the young students to become the social media influencers. Basically, it is that they are impacted, they have an impact from the social media. And secondly, we assume, or we have checked this, we have asked them the questions, that what are the reasons. So income, that they want to have an additional income, was seen one of the reason that why they want to become a social media influencer. Apart from income, there was also other reasons, like they want to become an opinion leader in the society. They want to brag that we have these things in our a particular circle that we are endorsing. Number then,
Just
we
one
have
question in between. How you are going to differentiate between the motivator or a attract? factor?
Ma'am, we have certain factors, we have certain statements derived from the PPM theory itself, where there are factors which decide that there is a difference between motivation and attraction. They resist a particular thing or they move to a particular thing. Then we have certain pull factors, where the young student entrepreneur, young student wants to become a social media influencer, and there are certain barriers or mooring factors which makes that the student doesn't want to become a social media influencer, even if they have an account on social media, and they want to maintain this status quo. Reason being that they might not be interested in becoming social media influencer because income is not the reason that they want to have an additional income, or they want to maintain this equilibrium. We have also tested this with a structural equation model, that does this model have stability or not. We have good 488 respondents. We have used stratified sampling because we wanted a specific data from students from the age group 18 to 25. That, and plus these students are undergraduate or graduate, and they must have social media account, only then they are useful as a target audience.
If you have used the stratified random sampling, that means you have like random sampling. Now between these stratas, you have taken the random sample.
Yes.
So what is the procedure or the you can say the technique you have used to draw the random sample out of your stratas?
Ma'am, we have approached students only from the college background who are in that 18 to 25
That is
years.
not random sample.
No, I'm saying that I've used stratified sampling. I
Under
won't
the
have.
stratified sampling also within the strata you're going to
Yes.
take the sample.
Yes.
So that is going to be the random.
Yes. You're right.
Where they actually have the accounts. The idea was that they should be having accounts on Insta or maybe other social media for at least 1 to 2 years, and they should be following these influencers already. They might not themselves be the influencer, but they are following certain influencers, not just your friends, but celebrities or mini celebrities or younger like other celebrities or influencers. That was the the kind of the eligibility criteria, at least. That was the idea. So we have come across based on three factors: push, pull, and moving factors. So there were 6 hypotheses we have come across. First, of course, opinion leadership will act as a push factor. Second was online propensity to interact. Basically, these were the push factors which will actually motivate to move towards becoming a social media influencer. Then there were 2 factors we have taken as a pull factors which will attract. That means based on the medium or the platform, why a person or a young digital native or a generation Z person will want to become a social media influencer. So there were 2: perceived uniqueness of the social media platform. So in case you if a generation Z guy or person feels that yes, this particular platform is a uniqueness, there's certain uniqueness that is providing it to me, then they might become. That's a hypothesis. The fourth hypothesis is a perceived originality of the social media. So in that case, if a new social media is coming up or some new platform is coming up, we believe because generation Z is more towards experimenting, they are more adapting towards and they're accepting the new platforms. So we find that might be an important factor. Another one was social media accounts factors, their own and last one was social identification. So as a peer group, see, there have been number of studies where they say that which have been actually empirically proven across the world, not only in India, that social identification, that means people over here, especially young students or digital natives, they find themselves very comfortable in digital environment, the ecosystem, which is like instead of a physical environment, they find themselves very comfortable. They're born with those kind of gadgets with them. That's the idea. But so out of these six, we have got that H1, H2, H3 were supported, and H5 was supported, and like out of six, basically four got supported, four of the hypotheses, two got rejected. That means the perceived uniqueness, perceived originality of the social media platform. So even if the social media platform is supposed to be new, something providing a new platform, still people or the students might not gravitate towards it. It will not be able to attract. It will not be able to pull as them as a social media influencer. That means as a one of the implications means the existing platforms will have a better chance or a propensity to get people as an influencer. That is one of the influence thing. Then another one which not got accepted, social identification, which was a kind of for us initially, like as a researchers, we found it kind of contradictory, because social identification is something. You have a question? Sure, ma'am. Then that's fine. No, ma'am. We were taking all the dates for just one of the See, okay. It can be MC. There are like, for example, TikTok is also social media, which has got banned. So then Chingari, Moj. So there are a number of platforms which keep on happening. Like even today, we are talking about like. Hmm. Exactly. So see, that is the thing that these factors are like these platforms are not new, which I totally agree with you. Now, what we were looking was perception of the people. So what we were looking at, that digital natives, if they find a new platform coming up, will they be actually invested, or they will be interested in moving towards or switching? That is the idea of push pull moving. So will that new if a new platform is coming, will it pull or attract the influencers towards them? So as of now, yes, we totally agree. These are not the new ones. But if somebody wants to have, like today, let's say for example, Twitter, they start like obviously it's a social media, but they want to have some kind of a influencer policy or something like that. Will people or young students will move towards it if they have a new platform altogether? Right. That was the idea. So what we see that, of course, yeah. Yep. So these are certain like what we after discussions we have been able to find, as my colleague has also given that Insta this again just an example we have taken from Insta itself has like a 9.7 billion dollar reach, and 20% of the social media influencers already are below 25 years. So we are looking at digital natives or social influencers as an influencer. Then of course it is like these social media platforms, they are meant for creating and meeting aspirations. Again, that's because there are so many empirical studies which are been very clear that people of this age age, people like students of digital natives or generation Z, they are very very comfortable in this kind of ecosystem where they are able to communicate or interact with people from different parts of world. It like a virtual world, the digital world they are comfortable with, right? Of course it has some implications for the marketeers also, for entrepreneurs also. It has for us as a researchers, if we talk about future research areas, how it actually leads towards maintaining or building social communities, the brand communities if you are talking about, or we want to move ahead as a brand tribe, how does it help? And primacy of digital medium for these people, the primacy of digital medium for generation Z in consumers, right? That is again. And how do we go about the content creation? Today there is so much newness or innovativeness, which is yeah, fun also. It can be video, humor. How you attract ultimately, if you have to become an influencer, you should have at least couple of million, if not couple of million, at least 5 to 6 lakh of followers. And then this actually gives us something very interesting, that now if you are looking at those kind of followers, these followers have to have some kind of a homogeneity, because when we talk about marketing, like in marketing we speak about brand positioning, we talk about market segmentation, right? Now if I have a follower of, let's say, like I want to have at least 5 to 6 lakh followers, so I should be able to identify certain needs of them, which are homogeneous needs. Then only they will start following me. I should have that kind of a content which will attract them, which will inform them, maybe keep them being part of my group, part of my community. So that is something which we feel is something very, very important coming up now. Of course, from marketing aspect, from entrepreneurial aspect, this is like marketing. From entrepreneurial, we believe that contributions can be interesting, because these are the people, these are the students, or these generation Z, they are actually becoming self dependent or independent. They are not dependent on their parents for earning now. And when we were having informal discussions with the students or these digital natives, we realize it's not the money only. Of course, money is one of the major motivator factor, but there are certain factors which goes beyond being like now when they want to become an influencer, which we feel is like something we need to explore further. As of now, there have been number of studies about influencers, number of theories have been used, theory of plant behavior, unified theory, etc., social identity theory. But I believe it's like a long process. Over a period of time, we should have a longitudinal study where we are actually able to explore deeper. And especially, see, one of the limitations that are as a researcher we had, most of our rather mostly almost 100% of the respondents from Delhi NCR. Okay, from colleges of Delhi NCR only. So but the influencers that we are seeing, especially the digital natives also, they are from different parts, from tier 3, tier 4 areas also. There we have not been able to penetrate as of now as our researchers. So I believe we should have a deeper exploratory study, maybe a longitudinal study over a period of time. That will actually help to understand their behavior, their understanding their total motivation factors. That is what I think we can contribute going further. So thanks for your patience and good listening. Any question? We are open for the questions, please, sir. I think it's all. Oh yeah, of course. Then it's
The study which you have conducted, it's
Sir.
a nice study.
Thank you.
Except some methodological issues are there regarding sampling. How you will be able to utilize this study, say for any single social media platform?
Okay. So, want to answer? Okay. Sir, for example, like this is a very interesting thing, because when we started, we were planning, we were conceptualizing the study. We were actually thinking that can we get kind of a funding from some social media. So of course we have to be made important for that. It has to be relevant for them. So we spoke with a couple of people like in social media, and then so they came out with this. At least do a pilot study for us. If the results come out genuinely relevant to us, we will kind of go deeper with you. And best part, like we were talking to one of the, I will not name the social media platform as of now, but they actually responded back that they were kind of very kind. Once we have a basics, you can actually use our data also. They will share the data as a researcher's part. Now, hypothetically, let's say we talk about Instagram. Okay, today Instagram, as we are seeing, almost 30% student, like people who are social media influencers, are people who are digital influencers, or people below 24, 25, right? Now, for any kind of a social media platform, how they can remain relevant? If we see any social media platform, most of the users, most of the, like almost 90, maybe I don't have the data as of now, but almost 90% people are students or people like users below 30, right? Now if they are able to understand why people become influencer, what are the factors, they can actually plan that for their future growth, their future offerings. Like today you have in YouTube you have like a short, so in Insta had a reels, right? Similarly in Facebook you have another small, so they are learning from each other. Like TikTok got banned, but people wanted small videos or 30-second videos. Other social media platform also started implementing the same. Similarly, if they understand the utility or the motivation of their users, they will be able to replicate or bring that kind of a product within their own platform. That's what I think will be quite useful for them.
Hi, ma'am. Okay, I have a query that you have done this research, and you have given us that especially the H4, which was related to originality of social media.
Yes, sir.
Did you came across any positive or outlier?
So, ma'am, see, this is a quantitative study per se.
Yeah.
So, outliers, I'm not sure because we did it. It's a more of a the study already there. The questionnaire was already there as per the
Okay.
scales.
So,
So we actually shared this. I think the questionnaire with 700 people,
Yes.
around 700 respondents. Out of those, 488 were the genuine respondents.
okay.
Felt that they can be used in the study.
Yes.
Okay. So you said that once you said that these social platforms, they are one individual is developing their own ID or Instagram profile, any profile, on the basis of need of they identify what is the need for how to be the influencer. Have you came across the fact that there are fake followers and paid
Exactly.
followers?
Precisely, that is something very important. Ma'am. That's good that you brought it up because this is something we were looking for from implications perspective also. And they are like again, it's not part of the study as of now. But when we were conducting interviews, especially informal interviews, not part of study, there are many people, especially young kids, who are like, "Sir, I can even I can have 10,000 followers within one night." I was like, so they are like, "Sir, it's like bots who are doing it." So how do we know that this is a relevant? So as this question and what sir is asking actually, how is it relevant? So this will be actually very useful. So because the social media, the platform, they can actually make out. It's not the researchers like us. We don't have that kind of a technical capability or the resources, but the platforms, they can actually make out that yes, these are the real ones, these are the fake accounts. So they can actually see it, and that will actually have implications for the marketing companies also. Today if I am feeling okay, this let's say hypothetically Virat Kohli has 5 million followers and I take him as an influencer, I pay him for a brand like positioning and for marketing my product, but I realize that, oh, in genuine he has only maybe 3 million. Something similar happened with the Twitter, where like Musk was totally we don't have the genuine, there are so many fake ones, so their valuation is down. The Twitter valuation is like not the real one. So something similar can be of course be there. So that will actually affect the brand value also and monetary value also of the followers or the influencer. That's always there. Sure, thanks.
I can ask you the question related to the methodology only. Right? So you have
So maybe
written
we
that
can-
you have used the PLS SEM, right? You have not shown your model here.
Yes, so
That,
because
that is the important part that you should show in your presentation. Uh,
actually
what
we
is
were
the
limited,
motivation?
sorry, so we were limited by the format that like your university had shared. So it was just only 8 or 9 slides we could show. So they have shown that this is
But
this.
that is the whole idea behind that. You should choose which one is the important one, which is
Yeah, so that was a mistake we have made maybe.
no problem. What is the motivation behind using the SEM? Why you have used it SEM?
Okay. Not one. See, the idea is that when we are talking about, there are a couple of interesting things. One, if we talk about general publication, okay, publications today, like whenever we want to go for a good publication, they are looking for a robust methodology. This is like SAM is one of the most popular also, and accepted at the good level journals.
I could agree here. Journals are not going to see that you have used the popular methodology or non-popular methodology, right? It's going to see how you have written and what is the implication of your study.
I'm so sorry, but I like to slightly digress from here because one of my papers just recently got rejected in A category. The only after after 2 revisions, the only reason they gave the one of the reviewers and the editor also took time that because the methodology you are using is PLSEM, which is which is already becoming obsolete for A category journals. So again, I mean,
you are contradicting your own statement.
yeah, I know that, but see, that's the thing what I'm trying to say is, but what we feel as of now, because there are other methodologies we can use, but this was the most relevant we find.
Why this methodology is appropriate for your study? That is what I'm asking.
Okay.
Because we wanted to test our model, that whether this particular models will this particular factors will be accepted by the as a model or not. That was the idea of using this, and we'll accept that we are kind of comfortable with SEM. We are still to update ourselves with different model accepting equations. We are still to go with that. So that is why, for convenience purposes, yes, we have been using this because we are comfortable.
So I'm a student at Amity only, and we are studying the subject this semester, cyber psychology, and we recently read online disinhibition effect.
Online
Disinhibition.
disinhibition.
So, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it basically, if I think, it comes under pull and push both.
Mhm.
And since your model is based on ppm, so I would like to ask you that how do you differentiate between pull and push factors? What is the what are the parameters that you use for differentiation?
So can you just explain me slightly disinhibition? When you say
Yeah.
cyber disinhibition,
Yeah.
what exactly you understand by
So
that?
it basically means that people, when they go online, they tend to share more information about themselves.
Oh,
And
got it.
offline, if I'm talking to you, I won't share much, but then online, I might share every information.
Yeah. So yeah, true. So I missed your name. You are
Nipun.
Nipun. So great, Nipun. This is something interesting because yes, this has been there number of times. Like even in your popular media, you will see in newspapers that people share their password, they will share their secrets, they trust somehow. The trust online where you have a cloak of secrecy. You might even have a wrong ID. So you might not be Nipun over online. You might be XYZ. That's a possibility. So people have this. Now coming to your original question, yes, how do we differentiate between push and pull? Okay. See, push is something which is internal, your personal value. Push is something which comes from myself as an individual. Yes, what is attracting, what is pushing me?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
That I get it.
Yeah.
I know what are push and pull factors. I want to ask that, when it comes to online distribution,
Yeah.
it can be a push and a pull factor.
You are just asking for a particular context.
Or
Disinhibition.
for any other concept which could actually come under both push and pull. So how do you differentiate?
Okay, so see, there is no one answer, Nipun, for that. That's you have to go back to the literature. You have to read the previous studies. You have to understand what are how they have been treated. We talk about mediators, moderators. So you have to. It's because different studies might have a different factors.
So you
They
did
might
not cover it in your literature review, right?
No,
We have covered the push and pull factors. We have taken certain statements and variables, and which, as per the literature review, we have seen that these are the push factors and these are the pull factors.
Okay.
This is different for what you are relating to, because when we talk about cyber spaces, we talk about cyber crimes, the push and pull factors may vary. We cannot say that the push and pull factors that we have used here or we have understood by going through the different literature, they are same as what in cyber laws are.
Thank you.
nice. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Now we'll be moving on to our next paper presentation by Sumit. So, Sumita Joshi, ma'am, are you here?
Yes, madam. We are here.
Ma'am, you can share your screen.
Yes. Just give me a minute.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Are you able to see the screen, madam?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Ma'am, you're on mute if you're trying to speak to us.
Yeah, I'm just trying to maximize the screen. Just give me a second. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Yeah, so a very good afternoon to all the dignitaries and the panel members. We are a team from Dr. Vishwanath Karar's MIT Workplace University School of Management. We are from Pune, and we are presenting a paper on a study of emerging startup culture in India. So we have a team of 3 members. I am Dr. Professor Sumita Joshi, faculty of School of Management, and I have 2 students with me who are from first year of BBA, Ms. Dia Mutha and Mr. Divyash Singh Anand. So we are very much thankful to you for giving us this opportunity to present our research work, which is done by the students. And I really appreciate the work done by the students because these are the first year students, but their interest and they are very keen to present the paper today. So let's start with the presentation. Since all of us know that Startup India is a flagship initiative of Government of India, which intends to catalyze startup culture and build a strong and inclusive ecosystem for innovation and entrepreneurship in India. This particular scheme was launched on 16 January 2016 with the initiative to roll out several programs with the objective of supporting entrepreneurs, building a robust startup ecosystem, and transforming India into a country of job creators instead of job seekers. These programs are managed by a dedicated Startup India team, which reports to the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion. So, based on this upcoming culture, we are here to present our paper or the research work on the topic, a study on emerging startup culture in India. Now I request the Diya Mutha to take over. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Diya Mutha. I would like to start with the introduction now. Startups are a young and dynamic company that searches for an unknown product or service or ascendable business model with proper ideation to disrupt the enduring markets to create something completely modern and something completely new.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Give the introduction and come to your objectives or methodology and your findings.
And the review of literature.
It's okay. So can you skip that?
Go to research methodology. Click on
the present study is descriptive and quantitative in nature. The primary data is collected from 100 respondents from the Pune city through the questionnaire method, wherein we have used a simple random sampling method. And the secondary data is collected from various publishing sources. The objectives of the study are as follows: to ascertain awareness about startups in society, considering the recent trends; to study the growth and opportunities of startups in the near future; to find out various issues and challenges of startups; to examine the various issues and challenges of the upcoming startups. Should we do the data analysis also?
Yes, you have to.
The data analysis was collected from 100 respondents, and we have displayed 8 questions out of our questionnaire so that you can understand how it went. The first question, one of the question was, what are the primary goals of a startup? So our respondents replied saying that to survive, to sustain, to make profits, and to grow are all the primary goals of a startup. The next question was, do you think startups have a future? And 92% of our respondents said that startups do have a future, while the other 5% said that they do not, and the others had different opinions about this. The next question was, the easiest part of launching a startup is coming up with an idea. Do you agree or disagree? There were 52 participants that said that they disagree, they agree, and 43% said that they disagree, while other 5% had different opinions about this. And the next question was, according to you, what challenges do startups face? 61% said that lack of funding, 52% said lack of guidance, 40% said lack of market research, and 37 respondents said that fierce competition are the main challenges faced by startups. Now handing over to Divyash Singh.
Good afternoon, one and all. Our next question was, all startups are a sustainable form of business. Do you agree or disagree? The above chart implies that 59% of the respondents disagree that all startups are a sustainable form of business, while 38% agree that they are a sustainable form of business. Our next question was, what does the term entrepreneur mean? 74% of the respondents think that the one who manages, organizes, and assumes the risks of a business, organization, or an enterprise is known as an entrepreneur, and the other 26% think differently. Our next question was, according to you, what are the qualities of an entrepreneur? According to the above graph, 86% of the respondents think that leadership skills, creativity, communication skills, management skills should all be present in an entrepreneur, while the others have different opinions. Our next question was, in future, do you aim to become an entrepreneur? 73% of the respondents aim to be an entrepreneur in the future. 8% of the respondents are already an entrepreneur, and 16% have different. 16% of the respondents have different goals in the future. Moving on to the findings from the primary data, most of the respondents are aware about the concept of startups in India. The respondents are aware about who is an entrepreneur and his required qualities. The respondents also think that the startups have a future, and the youngsters also aim to be the whereas some are already entrepreneurs. The upcoming generation is familiar with the primary goals of a startup, and they also agree with the fact that startups are a sustainable form of business, provided you have a sustainable idea. Majority of the respondents are not aware about the government policies initiated for startups in India. Our generation should be made more aware about the initiatives. The government has taken certain steps in terms of generating more startups in India. Awareness about the same can be spread through workshops, campaigns, and talks by startup founders. Everybody has different perceptions about the challenges that are faced by startups. Majority of the respondents feel that lack of funding is the main challenge faced by startups. The rest think that guidance, fierce competition, and lack of market research are the other challenges faced by startups. The respondents think to succeed in the startup industry, you have to be innovative and creative. Also, there is fierce competition, so you need to work extremely hard. The respondents also think that startups are all about finance, profit maximization, risks, sustainability, market research, and resilience. Some of the inspirational startups mentioned by the respondents are Flipkart, Amazon, Lenskart, Paytm, Nykaa, BharatPe, Boat, etc. Some of the respondents mentioned that they aspire to do something as unique as their inspirational startup mentioned above. Here are some of the challenges faced by the budding entrepreneurs. First, recruiting suitable candidates. To select a candidate who is dedicated, hardworking, and who fits the job well enough requires a lot of time and attention and is a particularly tricky task. Aggressive competition is the next challenge. Digital world is quite intense. Only the best of the best survive in the startup business. A startup is required to put their finest foot forward at the correct hour and engage aggressively if they want to execute profits and sustain in this kind of business. Third one is funding a startup. It is immensely difficult to find venture capitalists, potential incubators, and investors for funding startups in India. Development and branding specifications is the other challenge. For a startup to grow, there has to be proper branding and heavy advertisement through the digital world, as these details play a very vital role in the business. Uncertainty in taking risks. Experimenting and taking calculated risks can provide solutions to many problems, which are an absolute must in the startup business. With risks come rewards. However, tackling with the risks and uncertainties, although does not mean going into startups without any further vision and then anticipating outcomes to go in the directions that you want. We arrive at the following conclusions. As per the National Association of Software and Service Companies, India ranks third in the startup ecosystem across the world. In the last few years, startups are getting more and more popular, and both male and female entrepreneurs are getting into it. Startups have a great impact on the economy of a country, and the contribution of startups in employment and revenues has seen a huge growth. There are challenges faced by entrepreneurs, but they are being countered simultaneously. Some of the major challenges faced by the entrepreneurs are lack of market research, lack of guidance, finance. As India is a country with huge population, the opportunities available for startups are very much in number, ranging from solar and IT applications to hygiene, food, and retail. To solve problems faced by the society, which is easily affordable, Achieving the status of unicorn in India is very rare, but it is possible if a startup has a different and great idea which is executed to perfection. India ranks 68th out of 137 countries according to GEDI, and to improve its ranking, it has to implement all the necessary skills needed for entrepreneurship. India performs the strongest in product innovation, whereas the weaker links are startup skills, networks, and cultural support. Through the Startup India scheme, the government tries to promote entrepreneurship by financing, mentoring, and nurturing startups. Here are some suggestions in order to boost the startup culture in India and to motivate the budding entrepreneurs. In order to boost,
Hello, excuse me.
yeah,
Up, so we can start with the Q&A session, right?
can I have a minute, please?
It's just half a minute.
Yeah, sure. Fine. The government should organize frequent workshops to explain the government policies so that each and every individual who wants to start a business and aims to be an entrepreneur knows what to do and what not to regarding legalities. The government should also provide fundings to the startups who have a great idea and whose idea could become successful and profitable in the future. They should also correct such startups to huge companies who will want to invest in such kinds of startups.
We also suggest that the upcoming entrepreneurs should be given a little bit motivation and they should not be going through any kind of mockery, as it eventually demotivates them and might make them think that they are a failure even before starting a new venture. We should keep in mind that every idea has its own uniqueness. We should also keep in mind that failure shall be considered, and hence we can say that entrepreneurship is our near future. We would also suggest that the technology is rapidly increasing day by day and it is potentially a near future. Every child should be able to do coding, make websites, applications, and much more using codes and various languages. We need our future aspirants to be bright. This is possible when students are trained from the age of schooling. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please go ahead.
Okay, you said you have taken the simple random sampling.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you sure you have taken the simple random sampling?
Yes, ma'am.
Please explain what is simple random sampling.
Ma'am, we made a Google form and reached out to 100 respondents and asked for their opinions on various questions related to startups.
Okay, how you have decided that these are the 100 respondents I have to approach?
Sorry, ma'am?
How you have decided that these are the 100 respondents that you have to approach?
Ma'am, we sent it to various age groups and various people that we know, so that we can know about various age groups what they think about startups, starting from people like us and to old people like parents and grandparents.
Okay, you said you sent the questionnaire to the people whom you know, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That is not a simple random sampling.
Sorry, ma'am. We will improve next time.
Yeah, okay. Good presentation. Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up, we have Miss Ritu Sharma, Miss Reenu Yadav, and Vedehi Benzani.
So there are no more questions, madam?
Yeah, no questions. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Can we leave the meeting then?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Riya Ghoshal, are you there in the meeting?
This is Redhi Benzani this side. Can I share my screen?
Yes, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Good morning. Good afternoon. I am Redhi Benzani, presenting a paper titled Disruptive Technologies for Sustainable Development, Assessing Past Contributions and Future Directions. The paper is co-authored by Dr. Ritu Sharma, Ms. Reenu Yadav, I am Redhi Benzani, and Ms. Riya Ghoshal. We are from Amity University, Haryana. Can I begin?
Yes, please.
First, let us understand what sustainability means. Sustainability consists of fulfilling the needs of current generations without compromising the needs of future generations, while ensuring a balance between economic growth and environmental care and social well being. Next, we need to understand and define disruptive technology. The changes caused by disruptive technology in an industry are laying new foundations for futuristic growth and development. Disruptive technologies industries are trying to achieve sustainability. It is dramatically changing the way consumers, industries, and businesses operate. This paper attempts to find feasible technological solutions to promote sustainable just a sec. To promote sustainability in organizations by reviewing research done in these domains. This research will help to understand sustainability in various sectors along the new technological trends. This paper uses bibliometric analysis to understand disruptive technology and how it can development. So, the following authors' works have been the focus of our study. Kivima, in 2022, he published a paper, and in that paper, he defined disruptive technologies, and he said that disruptive technologies are expected to change existing markets, and businesses will soon have to adapt for profitability and viability. Chandu and Chandu 20, nobody tries to disrupt an existing process unless there is something advantageous in terms of cost, material, process time, and others. Kazi in 2019, electricity produced using solar and wind energy have lower impact on the environment and are replenishable. These also reduce the harmful impact on the climate. Fixel and Lal, the circular economy is therefore a system in which all activities starting from extraction and production are organized in such a way that someone's waste becomes a resource for someone else. And Gokhale in 2017 talked about 3D printing. 3D printing creates a sustainable organization and it saves the cost of transportation, thereby reducing the CO2 emission. This is our literature review. We have used and compared 3 studies. Study 1 focuses on the key publishing journals, authors, and documents, as well as to uncover the intellectual structure and topical foci of the research domain. The keywords of the first study are sustainable development, sustainable developmental goals, innovation, sustainability, science mapping, and bibliometric review. The second study focused to gain an overview of the evolution of sustainable technology research. It encompasses all available publications and countries. Keywords of study 2 were sustainable technology, green technology, clean technology, environmental technology, renewable energy technology, and bibliometric. The third study, its focus to provide a research landscape since the systematic understanding of sustainable technology innovation is still inadequate. Through bibliometric analysis, it creates the literature distribution characteristics and the literature citation network. Keywords of study 3 are sustainable technology innovation, literature citation network, analysis, co-citation network, and plain path analysis. Last is we'll talk about our study. Our study focuses on the trends in disruptive technology and sustainable development publications, most prolific contributors, most influential publications, themes, and research directions. The keywords of our study are disruptive technology, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, blockchain, e-commerce, sustainable development, and bibliometric analysis. The research questions that were posed in our study are: what are the trends in technologies for sustainable development? Who are the most and countries in disruptive technology? Influential publications in disruptive technology, themes covering various aspects of development. The bibliometric analysis is mapping. Bibliometric methods to analyze books articles, and other public with scientific contents.
Ma'am,
Under this study, 648 papers have been used to understand the past contributions and the future directions of. Hello?
yes, ma'am, you can continue.
Yeah, thank you. The papers used were written between the years 1995 to 2022. The result, according to the bibliometric used in the paper, it has been observed that Bangla SK turned out to be the most impactful author. China is
Excuse me, ma'am.
making it the most relevant country.
Ma'am, you're not audible.
Am I audible now?
Is your camera on?
No, just a second.
Yeah, no, keep it off only. I'm saying that I think there's
Okay.
an issue from your side because the voice is lacking quite a lot.
Can we try again? Shall I continue?
Yeah, you continue. Let's see. How much time is left? Like,
Just the result and future direction.
okay. Yeah, you can continue then.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, Most relevant affiliations were University of Johannesburg. Trending topic according to frequency are technology transfer and marketing. The frequency is 11. Source impact in disruptive technology and sustainable development is Journal of Cleaner Production, Sustainability and Sustainable Cities and Society. Most relevant sources in disruptive technology and sustainable development are Sustainability, IOP, that is Institute of Physics Publishing, Conference Series, Earth and Environmental Science, Journal of Cleaner Production. Top 4 cluster found in this paper are cluster 1, that is Smart City, cluster 2, Blockchain, cluster 3, Artificial Intelligence, cluster 4, Industry 4.0. Future direction. Top 4 cluster found in this paper, as we have discussed, are Smart City, Blockchain, Artificial Intelligence, Industry 4.0. The scope of these disruptive technologies in future research uses ICTs and other means to improve quality operation and services and competitive that it meets the needs of present and future environmental as well as cultural aspects. They can help improve environmental issues by reducing consumption of waste and resource cost. Smart cities will be transparent supply chains, more responsible sourcing and consumption. Artificial intelligence. Artificial is the ally that sustainable development needs to design, execute, and to plan the future of our planet and its sustainability more effectively. Technology, AI, will help us build more efficiently, use resources sustainably, and reduce more efficiently. Among many other matters of AI's contribution to sustainability is traffic intelligence in urban mobility allows traffic jams to be predicted and alternative routes to be suggested. With shared mobility, this technology predicts vehicle demand by zone and time. This solution not only facilitates mobility but also minimizes its environmental impact. AI will become a key tool to facilitate circular economy and build smart cities, to name a few. Industry 4.0, it includes using big data and blockchain based solutions to encourage environment friendly decision making by consumers and businesses. This study presents a data of 1995 to 2022 of disruptive technology and sustainable development. Several research questions were proposed and pursued using a bibliometric methodology consisting of performance analysis and science mapping. Most of these emerging themes were focusing on research involving with use of new technologies such as blockchain and IoT. CSV, that is comma separated values file, has been used to find out co-authorship network using VOS viewer. Finally, the scientific insights could be uncovered through a bibliometric methodology. In particular, bibliometric reviews such as ours do not delve into expert information such as theories, context, and methods deployed to create new knowledge on electronic commerce in the DTSD scopus. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, I would like to take up questions.
My question is, what is the database you have used to select the papers, and what are the keywords you have used to search out your papers that you have used?
Ma'am, we have used bibliometric analysis, and we have used 648 papers.
No, that I got it. The technique you have used the bibliometric, but what is the database, like Scopus database or Google Scholar, or
We have used, ma'am, Scopus.
database? Okay, and what are the keywords you have used?
Keywords, ma'am, are just a second. Keywords are disruptive technology, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, blockchain, e-commerce, sustainable development, and bibliometric analysis.
So you have followed any procedure to screen out the papers, like filtering? How you have done the filtering?
Ma'am, through Scopus only, by putting in the keywords, and then we have filtered the papers.
Putting these keywords, you have got a lot of papers, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You have taken all the papers.
Actually, not a lot of work has been done in disruptive technology and sustainable development altogether, like as a subject as a whole. So we found 648 papers in total.
And you have taken all the 648 papers?
Yes, ma'am, because like we had very less material to work on.
Okay. One question is from the participant side. Sumit,
Yes,
you can unmute yourself and you can ask. Sumit, are you there?
Hello. So, what is the basic difference between the bibliometric analysis and the systematic literature review?
Just a second. Bibliometric is basically the use of statistical methods to analyze books, articles, and other publications, especially in regard with scientific contents. So basically, we are using statistical methods, and the systematic literature review identifies, selects, and critically appraises research in order to answer a clearly formulated question. Right now, in our study, we had to come to research questions. We didn't have a clear research question in mind. That's why we went for bibliometric analysis.
As per my knowledge, there is no scope of bibliometric analysis. Actually, this is just like a statistical analysis. You just search the keywords on the Scopus database and fix the time span and search it out and just represent the data analysis.
Right, but that's what we have done.
No. So, what is the advantage of bibliometric analysis?
To take out data that already exists. We are using it for past contributions. We are not
Actually,
using it.
You are just finding the most contributed authors. If I change one single keywords, then the analysis completely changes. So
yeah,
it be a research questions, and authors should focus on the systematic literature review as compared to bibliometric analysis. So this is my.
We are actually trying to focus on the past contributions. So for past contributions, we need to do bibliometric analysis first. So that's what we have done.
Actually, all the data is available on the Scopus websites. If I want to know who is the most contributing author in the supply chain, sustainability, and other things, and I can check. So what is the advantage of this research paper? Everything is there.
Yeah, right.
So try to focus on the systematic literature review.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now you can please unshare the screen. Next up, we have Seema Sahai ma'am and Varnika Agarwal ma'am to present the paper.
Very good afternoon to everyone, and I am here to present the PPT on tunneling the challenges in adoption of e-governance in sustainable development perspective, along with my co-author, Professor Seema Sahai. This is Dr. Varnika from, we both are from Amity International Business School. So as my yeah.
We are just short of time, so
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
8 minutes and 2 minutes for the
Definitely.
Start with the rationale of study, objectives, methodology, and findings.
Don't worry. So my previous presenter has already discussed in detail about sustainability and everything. So what we are focusing over here is actually good governance, the e-governance. So it is a very important, crucial part of Sustainable Development Goal number 11, sustainable communities and cities. Yeah.
Is it an empirical paper or
No, it's a methodological MCDM based paper. Okay, so what we are basically finding, we are finding two things. Number one, we are identifying what are the challenges that are hindering this development of good e-governance. We are very familiar that a lot of services are being now shifted to e-governance, but it is still not being utilized at a very ground level to much extent. So we are identifying those challenges and we are understanding the relationship between these challenges. So a very simple two-step approach has been used. First is a gray DLP method has been used, followed by gray DMATL. Now, why we have used the gray approach instead of the crisp? Because getting the right answers in exact terms is a very difficult task. So, to incorporate that vagueness in the decision maker. So, the data has been collected from government officials. So, we cannot ask them that, okay, give us a rating. Okay, it is good, how much good it is. So in order to incorporate whatever vague answers they give us to us in the decision maker, we thought to incorporate the gray method in this. So the first one, we have identified these few challenges from the literature survey. So just searched the keyword about e-governance and SDG, and we come up with a lot of factors. Whatever was overlapping, we have actually crossed out them and came up with these few factors. Now still, there are too many factors to go and ask a government official, okay, do you think these are hindering or this is not promoting the development? So we have done the Gray Delphi approach. So this was the general methodology. We asked them in linguistic terms, okay, tell us that is this factor important? Is it extremely important? It is less important? Or do you think it is not important? So linguistic judgments were made and then corresponding gray numbers were utilized, and a simple formula that we have found in the literature that has been done to found them into a crisp value. So after that, what we did, we have basically provided them a threshold that we found using this formula, and we have accepted or rejected the challenges. The challenges where they were below the threshold, we have just rejected it. And in short, we have come up with fewer challenges as compared to the list of the challenges that we had earlier. So after that, we have applied a DMATL approach. Now, why DMATL? DMATL helps us in understanding which are the cause and relationship. So instead of now also concentrating on all these 6 factors, we have identified out of these 6, if we control the 2 or 3 important factors, how are they going to impact the other factors? So we have taken the opinion of, we were able to only find a very small set of 5 decision makers, as we are aware that in MCDM we do not require 100 or 200 responses. A small expert group is needed. So 5 people that were willing to fill up this type of decision makers, we have approached them and we have asked them that question, like how much important is the lack of infrastructure? How is it influencing the other parameters? So lack of infrastructure, is it influencing the digital literacy or not? And in what parameter? A simple scale of no influence, high influence, low influence. So simple wordings were kept. And then we have incorporated all of them and converted them into crisp number. I'm not going in the maths of how we have done it. So a Delphi gray DMATL approach has been used, and eventually what we came up was this table. So here the highlighted factors are the cause. So if based on our study, what we concluded that if we focus on like digital literacy, networking challenges, and lack of affordability. So these three things as our base, then in total all of these challenges will be controlled at a grounder level. So that was our impact. And this right now over here next to it is an IRD diagram, as we say in the metal. So it's an impact relation diagram. So these arrows are actually showing the direct and indirect impact that they are having, and how we come up with these arrows based on the threshold values of the demetal, and that we have discussed with them, and then we have simply put wherever it is higher than threshold, that is there, that a direct influence or an indirect influence is occurring over here. So in total our agenda is, at ground level, if awareness is created about digital awareness, a lot of people know that tax is being filled online as a part of e-governance, but how many people actually fill the tax online on their own? They hire somebody to do it. So instead of it, it's a very simple process that you can do. So that awareness at a ground level is somehow missing. And in addition to that, obviously networking challenge. We saw in pandemic how am I audible was the most frequently used keyword. So that is another problem that is there. And in addition to it, lack of affordability. A lot of people are still not able to afford the technology as well as the internet rates that are being there. These are very generic things that we came up.
Sometimes no one wants to take the burden, try to go for filling them when someone is there.
Exactly, when someone is there. But again, a lot of governance is now moving. If you go, in fact, if you want to do anything related to a property or in MCD kind of a thing, everything is online, but we still take the help of, those brokers to take it. So you can freehold the property and everything by simply clicking on the website that is very user friendly. But none of us are doing that at a ground level. So that everybody felt that was a major concern.
Study is going to influence those persons who are not going to willing.
So now again, so our question over here is why as a person we are not willing, because we do not know. So we have proposed this to the government also, because we are writing a project further on it also. So we have proposed them that, how we can create a ground level awareness. The services are online, but people are not aware that still you can do it at a simpler level, a more workshop based thing. Now in updating a very simple thing like an Aadhaar, now a lot of people have started doing it on their own. Still people are there because a lot of people have been motivated ki, okay, we are not doing it, you can do it on your own. So people are still motivated that okay, we can find out Aadhaar and everything, but not for all the governance based services that are being there. So initial workshops, initial tie-ups with NGOs, I think will be a very good initiative, or younger audience like them, they can be a good motivators to go and actually tell people about it. So that's it, a very smaller thing. So any questions, anything? Thank you.
Nice presentation, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Next up, we have Miss Chanpreet Kaur and Ritu Sapra.
Very warm good afternoon to everyone present. So I'm presenting my paper on the topic corporate governance and international capital access influencing social disclosures in a concentrated ownership setup. So basically, any social institution or any organization is based on a social contract, whether expressed or implied, whereby its survival and growth are based on the delivery of some socially desirable ends to society in general, and the distribution of the economic, social, and political benefits to the groups from which it derives its power. So the purpose of social disclosures or social accounting is to basically how the organizations are basically delivering their social contracts. So basically, social costs and benefits are generated by the organizations, and they should be a part of the opportunity costs. There are misallocation of resources, human and natural resources. So, and the firms can be subject to external control. Profits do not proportionately reflect the true costs or true benefits that are generated for the society, and hence the costs are also difficult to quantify, and that is the reason we need social reporting. These are some of the literature that is taken into consideration in my study. Okay, basically the context of my study revolves around three aspects. One is the theoretical aspect. Several theories were considered, but none of the theories you can is fully applicable to the country. Besides that, Section 135 of the Companies Act 2013, SEBI circular, national voluntary guidelines are introduced, and corporate governance rules are introduced. Business responsibility reporting was introduced by the country for betterment of the reporting standards. Another aspect is the high promoter ownership concentration, which has risen to 75% in the recent years. Clause 49 of the listing agreements was added by the Securities and Exchange Board of India. And apart from that, Companies Act 2013 has also created certain governance norms in line with the clause 49 of SEBI regarding the board members, regarding the audit committees, and CEO dualities. So, but there is also a rise in the foreign investment, particularly the ESG investments, which are basically foreign driven. So looking at this criteria or this scenario, I'm presenting my study. The dearth is there of data. Basically, the ESG investors who are keen on investing in those companies which are which are more socially responsible, the data is not available. So that is why we need to look into the governance aspect, keeping in view the ownership concentration and how the social disclosures can be improved. So there are three ways in which the study can be directed. One is through the agency theory, that is the internal governance structure. Sorry? No. It's a empirical paper. Okay. So basically, there were twin objectives of the study. One, to find out the effect of the corporate governance and international capital access on the social disclosures, and to find out the moderating effects of the social disclosure of the corporate governance variables and international capital access on the social disclosures. So the study period is basically 14-15 to 16-17. Content analysis was done on the 82 item scale, and basically it helped us form the dependent variable, that is the social disclosure score. Fixed effects panel regression was used, and yes, so basically this is the main part of the study. The green aspects are the governance factors that were taken into consideration. The red ones are the international capital access factors. So we tried to see the individual as well as the moderating effects of these on the social disclosures. So basically the main initial variables that were considered were promoter ownership, and another variable that was created was systematic risk interacted with the companies that had high promoter ownership of more than 50%. So initially when we ran the regression for the promoter ownership, it was insignificant but negative, and it was in tune with the previous literature. But at the same time, there are two effects of high promoter ownership concentration. One is the expropriation effect and another is the substitution effect. So I wanted to check if there is an expropriation effect and if there is also a positive effect of high promoter ownership. So basically depending upon the literature of Coffey 2020, he said that systematic risk is equivalent to the environmental risks that are generated and cannot be diversified away. So I tried to find out if high promoter ownership can help in influencing the policy regarding the social disclosures so that the companies can create a better image in the market. So the initial model, I told you the results, but when we interacted systematic risk with the companies having high promoter ownership concentration, it came out to be significant and positive. Otherwise, the systematic risk is always a negative, has always a negative effect on the social disclosures. So this was the initial model or the base model that was created. After that, the results of the governance factors showed very contradictory results as per the women directors are concerned, which had a negative and significant influence on the social disclosures. Audit committee independence also had a negative and significant influence on social disclosure quality. Board size had a positive influence, whereas the similarity between the CSR committee members and audit committee members was also a new variable that was formed based on the study by Carol Adams that advocated that internal contextual factors can influence the social disclosure. So I tried to take this variable because the commonality of the membership between CSR committee and audit committee would help in betterment of the social disclosure, because audit committee members may not be knowing much about the CSR part. So CSR committee members, if they are in the audit committee, or audit committee members when they are common with the CSR committee members, then social disclosures could be better, and this is the result, that they are better when the memberships are common. But as per the results of the international capital access also had a positive individual significant impact on the social disclosures. Coming to the moderation part of the governance factors was moderating positively. All the governance factors were positively moderating the relationship between the promoter ownership concentration and social disclosures, but to some extent only. They were not able to overcome the negative influence of promoter ownership concentration. On the other hand, international capital access was not only positively influencing the social disclosures, but it was also able to overcome the negative impact of promoter ownership concentration. So implications. First implication is that this is the only study that has been able to bifurcate the expropriation and substitution effects of the concentrated ownership structure. Managerial implication involves that it recommends identification and appointment of large board with special focus on key stakeholders, the board members to represent each stakeholder. Policy implication involves that the BRSR, that is Business Responsibility and Sustainability reports that have now been made from the year 2022 itself, they are accompanied by a statement from SEBI that there is an increased focus of investors and other stakeholders seeking businesses to be responsible and sustainable towards the environment and society. This acknowledges this means that the SEBI also acknowledges the institutional pressure that has begun to reign internationally for the firms to be more sustainable and disclose about the performance of this area. 2019 budget had announced the minimum promoter shareholding to rise from 25% to 35%. I think this will be a great step if this happens, because promoter ownership concentration up to a level of 75% is causing a disregard to the social disclosures to some extent. But in policy making, yes, they are being better for avoiding the risk, right? So the substitution effect that I have proved. Future scope of the study: disclosures can be explored as per the cultural and financial market-based determinants. Pre- and post-pandemic comparison can be done of the social disclosures, and industry selections can be done in the study. So thank you.
This question is related with the social disclosures. So what are the major components of social disclosures on which this social accounting is being conducted?
So in my study, I had taken 7 components, major components. One was economic, environment, corporate governance, human rights, employee, and CSR.
So are they having some sub-components also of this? Like when we talk about the corporate governance, so corporate governance must have certain points.
Yes.
On the basis of, you can say, the corporate governance is good or bad, like this.
Yes.
So do you have in your study that the sub themes of the corporate governance?
Yes, sir. So actually in my study, I had used an index of the disclosures. So there were 82 items.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the first part of the study, which is not included in this paper.
Okay.
Because that is used as a dependent variable, the outcome of that.
Okay.
But there were 20 to 25 components items that were included in the corporate governance aspect. They included from whistleblowing mechanism to corporate vigilance, then no CEO duality, separation of CEO duality.
Are they following in the mandatory disclosure or the voluntary disclosures?
They are mixed.
Mix. So I think in your study is good, fine, because it's a different kind of study. But while doing this kind of a study, we should always try to identify the two different ways.
Okay.
One is the mandatory disclosure, and another is the voluntary disclosures. So as far as mandatory disclosures are concerned, because SEBI is always saying that you have to disclose the things according to these norms, and those are the mandatory disclosures. But while going for the voluntary disclosures, those are the major things, because the voluntary disclosures are depending on the organization whether they are disclosing or not.
Yes.
So sometimes what happened, those voluntary disclosures are very important.
Yes.
But companies are not disclosing those. So ultimately it gives impact to the investors also.
Yes, sir.
So,
So for example, like assurance of the sustainability reports.
Yeah.
So some companies were assuring them, getting them assured, but some of them were not getting them assured. So that I can incorporate in my future
Yes,
studies.
it should be. I think so. It should be. Fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have Miss Meena Rani and Miss Meena Sharma? Ma'am, I don't think.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining in. Now I would request Shweta ma'am to kindly give the token of appreciation to our esteemed session chairs.
It's a gift for you.
Thank you so much for joining in, and thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir, for coming today and enlightening us with your thoughts and giving opinions on so many new presentations. Thank you, Neha, ma'am. Thank you, Shweta, ma'am. Now I would like to conclude the session. Okay. Thank you, presenters.